Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Tonight's topic: would our lives as black people be better without social media? Would our lives as black people be better without social media? I'm going to say that depends on your environment, and your environment is based on where you're living, how you're living, what your social status and education status is. But believe it or not, black people did pretty well even during the times of Jim Crow when we didn't have any system. And I'm talking about welfare, alimony, child support. We didn't have any media criticizing us for our lifestyle. In fact, before social media, I believe black people, we had our ups and downs, but we were able to have conversations. Now, what I'm saying is based on the geography or what region of the country you're in. Because in the major cities, it's always been bad, and this dates all the way back to the 1960s. But I believe with social media, it's really made us as black people look bad because we are perceived as people who are irresponsible, hateful, and disrespectful to each other. Now, I'm putting this video out because I want to tell you something. If we as black people take one moment here in social media to support one another, and shout out to Brother Arlo Monk for putting his video out on support. There have been other brothers who have done that as well, and sisters who have done that as well. See, what's wrong with black people when it comes to anything in life, we don't own anything. And if we did own something, it would probably be a disaster as well because we don't know how to communicate properly with each other. In fact, we spend most of our time as African Americans building up Caucasian people. And let me tell you something, Caucasian people are no better than we are. Most of what we use today, like your mailbox, your elevator, your stoplight, your ironing board, open heart surgery, agricultural, the Tuskegee Airmen, aeronautical engineering, black people invented. But we don't get credit for it because we weren't allowed to be educated in the past. But if you look at us now as a black people or as a community, and trust me, we still have a community, and I don't care where you live, most of us as black people came from two places. We came from the hood or we came from the country. But in essence, we came from somewhere that there was potential poverty. But if you look at us as African Americans, without social media, we were much stronger than we are now. Social media has allowed other groups to make fun of us. We have always been at the bottom of the barrel, and we've even made other minorities strong. Now, as African American people, our fault comes from wanting to be the big fish in the small pond. And what I mean by being the big fish in the small pond, especially when it comes to social media, we always want to be on top and we don't want to help anybody else. Well, in society, that doesn't work. If you want to rise, you have to bring everybody else up to your level so they can branch off and do what they need to do. Now, on YouTube, we all do different content. And I've seen a lot of back and forth when it comes to African Americans here on YouTube. YouTube is a good platform. The bottom line is African Americans, and this goes all the way back to when I started listening to people like Sergeant Willie Pete, Tommy Sotomayor, when they were up and coming, the Advice Show. Then I saw black men going back and forth. It wasn't as much with the black women, but as soon as black men got a platform, this is when black men and black women started going back and forth with each other. Now, I do not promote a gender war. In fact, I don't use the term gender war because I don't believe there is a gender war. In fact, in the real world, when I deal with African American people, whether they're working customer service or they're working as professors, I get along with them very well. Why? Because it's in the real world. I've always told many of my melanated people that social media is not the real world. We spend too much time on social media, and at the end of the day, we don't know how to communicate with each other in the real world, and we tend to be more disrespectful to each other. Now, there are a couple of YouTubers who talk about black women. I'm not going to mention their names, but it's not his fault that he talks about black women. It's because there are a number of individuals who are sending them news clips about black women, but they're the wrong black women. If you talk about positive black women, that could offset information about negative black women, because there are a lot of good black women out here. We don't know it because we don't take time to actually go find places where we can interact with good black women. We always talk about the ratchet black women. When it comes to social media, black men especially, they'll never get together because they don't want to get together. At least black women have tried to get together. It's the same way when you go to college. When it comes to fraternities and sororities, black fraternities are not as popular as they used to be, but sororities are still popular. The reason is, when it comes to black men and black women fight for a common cause. Black men don't fight for a cause at all. That's a problem. And as black men, social media is not going to help us be leaders. In fact, a number of us are up here on social media just spewing out our vitriol and venom because we don't like our lives and how we were treated by black men or black women in the real world. Now, here's what I want to tell you. Before you get on a platform, make sure that you have your mind totally focused on a topic that you want to speak about. Be coherent about it. Getting emotional in front of a camera is not going to help your cause. It's going to hurt your cause. And you can end up being one who cuts your own throat. In other words, you're going to cut off your nose to spite your face. Why? Because when you are emotional and you're putting out content, well, if you're not coherent about what you're saying, you're going to put information out that in the end you're going to regret talking about because you're angry. But it seems to me when it comes to the African American community, we support that anger, that vitriol. We don't support anything positive. Now, people like Brother Matt Coley, myself, okay, you have Guy King, Brother Arlo Monk, the Elder. We put a lot of positive material out. Now, the Elder's channel is a very big channel, and he had his channel flagged a couple of times. He's still growing. You got LAR Movement. Might not agree with everything he says, but his channel is growing. when it comes to YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, we can all grow if we learn how to support each other. Everybody does not have to agree or take a position on the same topic, but it is good to listen to everybody's content as long as it is coherent. If it's hateful and it's content used to go back and forth to attack black women or black men, well, you're hurting us as a race because other races see us as dysfunctional. And in fact, it is the individuals who have created media platforms that don't want intelligent African Americans on their platform. Why? Because they make money off of us if we're acting a fool. And we're proving them right. So what we have to do as African Americans, particularly when it comes to the social media world, is number one, we have to learn how to get together, utilize their platform as a training mechanism, and form our own platform. It can be done, but we have to want to do it. Many times, we're comfortable utilizing somebody else's platform because we don't have to do any work. To become successful as African Americans, certainly we have to work twice as hard, but it is worth it if we put our minds to it and we support each other. And when it comes to creating content, it's not about how many subscribers you have here on YouTube. It's about views. Now, what I do when I support somebody's content, I go over to their channel, comment on their channel, if they have information that's making sense, and I'll shout them out. Now, I hope they would do that for me as well. If they don't, that's okay. But if you're putting out decent content, you're coherent, you're presentable in front of the camera, which I'm talking about, you keep yourself groomed, you keep yourself clean, because people can see your face if you're showing your face on YouTube, and they'll know if you take care of yourself. And if you do that properly, as far as the grooming, and you speak properly, people will view your content. Now, you have some people out here who use a lot of filthy language. Yeah, people will view that content as well. But those are the people that may be looking for some drama, or they may be looking to get their emotions in an uproar because it makes them feel good. See, I'm not here to curse anybody out. I'm here to support all my brothers and sisters, even if they have content that I particularly don't take a position on. But when it comes to going back and forth, all this gender war, I don't believe there's a gender war at all. I never believed there's a gender war or there was a gender war. It's all made up. What has basically been happening between black men and black women, we've utilized social media just to hate each other because it's easy to hate each other. But when I step out in the real world and talk to other black people, it is not like that. And this is why I've made videos in the past when it comes to us as melanated folk that we need to stay off social media and get into the real world and actually socialize with one another. Brothers and sisters, if you're meeting wrong men and women, maybe you have to look at yourselves, raise your standards, or lower your standards if your standards don't make any sense, and find a different place to meet good black men and black women. They're out there, but you have to be willing to do the work to meet better people. And if you meet better people, black men and black women, you're not going to have the hate for one another. You won't have to deal with swirling. And that's black men and black women doing it. You don't have to uplift the Caucasian men by thinking that they're better, or the Caucasian women by thinking they're better. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you're still black. If we learn how to support each other by, number one, communicating better, number two, being more positive with each other, and number three, not having a lot of self-hate for ourselves and then portraying that hate or utilizing the hate that you have for yourself on other people. Because it's already hard enough to be black as it is. And if you don't know that, look how hard you have to work, whereas other folks don't have to work as hard. And because of the civil rights movement, when it came to African Americans, we've made a lot of inroads for other minorities to come here to this country, and they live a lot easier than we live. We're still fighting the good fight. Now, are we winning? In some areas we are, in some areas we're not. But the place or the area that we need to win is learning how to get along and love each other again. And it all starts with the family. If you're not taught from a family that is stable, well, you're going to get on channels like YouTube and Facebook and voice your vitriol. And your vitriol could cost you a job. It could cost you a chance to get into school. You can end up in jail because you threatened somebody who said something you don't like. And it's already happened on Facebook Live in the black sector, where there have been a few murders from Facebook Live. But the biggest thing we have to do as African American people is support one another. And for your brothers and sisters who have big channels out, doesn't mean that your channel is better than individuals who have small channels. Some of you have been on YouTube for a long time and you have talked about we need to support one another, but some of you don't support other channels. In fact, some of you think you're better than other channels. And this is not hate, this is just fact. When a new YouTuber is starting out, I'm going to support that person so they can grow. Because support helps the community grow. And if you can't support other people, there's going to be a chance that one day you may be falling down from the ladder on your face, and you may need support from the people you didn't support. Remember, karma is a bitch. And when it hits you hard. But support comes from those who want to teach. But in order to want to teach, you have to be a good student. Now, like I said, I have a small channel. I don't ask for any donations. There are other people like Brother Arlo Monk, Matt Golay. Shout out to you, Brother Real Deal. Neither of us ask for any donations. We just utilize this platform to teach, because as African American males, we get shit on every day, even by our own women. Why? It's not because of us. It's because of the number of men that they met who were bad. And when you keep running to the same types of men, looking for a different result, you're never going to get the result that you like. And that's the same thing about men. We keep running to the ratchet women, and then we're cursing out good women because of our dumbness. What we need to do as men is pick better women. Now I know on YouTube it's very tough to find individuals in the black sector who are going to support you because too many of us are jealous of one another. And that's the big hang up with African American people. You don't have to be jealous. Nobody's trying to take your spotlight away from you. But if you want a cohesive community, the people at the top should help the people at the bottom without feeling threatened that the people at the bottom are going to come and take your top spot. Nobody's going to do that. If you have a market and your content fits that market, you don't have anything to worry about. But when it comes to African American content, what I find that's not supported here on YouTube is content that's educational. We will support drama all day. It sells. But what happens with drama? It makes us look like buffoons. And we make other people rich by being dramatic. When it comes to something positive, it doesn't sell. Because in our mind as African American people, we always support content that's vulgar, there's violence, there's hate, there's going back and forth, and at the end of the day, where have you gone? Nowhere. You might feel good for 15 minutes, but you got to go back into the real world. Support each other's content. If you want to build a good community, you use this platform. Learn how to operate on this platform with good voices, good speech, take good notes, and most of all, be confident in yourself and support other people. It's that simple. You don't have to be a genius to be a good YouTuber. What you have to do to become a good YouTuber is you got to know who you are first before you can support someone else. You have to be confident. And when it comes to black men, a lot of us aren't confident. And we'll go back and forth with the sisters out there, but we'll go back and forth with each other. And when you have the sisters looking at us going back and forth with each other, do you think they're going to trust us to make any decisions? Hell no. I wouldn't trust us to make any decisions. See, one thing about the sisters, yes, they'll stab each other in the back, but when they have a common goal, they'll fight for it. We don't do that as black men. Because if we did, there would be a lot of us here on YouTube with bigger channels. But you know, you have some of the big channels who provide the entertainment and drama who think the small channels are beneath them. That's the first problem. If you want growth, people who've been on YouTube in the black sector should help the smaller channels out. And the smaller channels should be able to add some insight to help the bigger channels out. We got to get off the ego train and understand that our community is fractured and social media has made it worse. And it's going to continue to get worse. Why? Because we're comfortable with our community being worse because it's an escape or deflection from reality when we're on YouTube spewing vitriol against one another. Because basically everybody has an opinion, just like everybody has an ass. But at the end of the day, our community is still failing. And it's going to continue to fail. But we can make a difference here on YouTube or any other social media if we support each other. And what we need to do is put more positive messages out there. Many of us as black people, we tune in to negativity all the time. Therefore, all we know is negativity. But if we utilize this platform as a way to help one another, our messages can be utilized to build a fractured community. But guess what? That takes all of us as individuals to start supporting each other right here on this platform. Because if we can't support each other on YouTube, we can't repair a fractured community. But if we understand how YouTube works, then we can go out in a voting booth and vote with our feet and start voting for policies that will help get us out of poverty. But we got to be willing to do the work. Being on YouTube is a good platform. But if you don't support each other, I don't care how big or how small your channel is, you're not going to grow. Why? Because, number one, your ego is not going to let you grow. And number two, you have a selfish mindset. You want to keep everything for yourself. And number three, you have insecurity problems. You're always afraid that somebody's going to take your spot. Well, if you can look inside yourself and see that people you help aren't a threat to you, and this is for black men and black women who are here on YouTube, then everybody grows. But if you continue to go at one another without supporting each other, nobody grows. And if you don't believe me, there are many videos that are here on YouTube with people out here still preaching hate. And what does hate do? Hate causes stress, and stress can lead to heart attacks and other health defects. And at the end of the day, we hear enough hate. Let's become more positive. Because if you're positive, you're confident. And when you're confident, you're not threatened by supporting other melanated people here on YouTube. And it's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for this evening, Friday, December 22nd, 2017. You can tune in to the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest calling number is 215-383-5785. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on this channel, I don't engage in controversy, emotional issues, nor do I debate. Also, I do not get involved with drama or unnecessary bickering. Why? Because it is counterproductive. What I do on this channel is teach, and I give you information from a realistic but positive perspective. Again, if you listen to tonight's video, support is very positive. And once you understand how to support somebody else, they will support you. If you don't believe me, try it one time, and you'll know the difference. Because if you're positive and you have knowledge and you want to be part of the real world, then what you'll do, you'll acknowledge what's being said, whether you agree or disagree with it in this video. But at the end of the day, knowledge is power. If you don't have that knowledge or information right by your side, you're not going to understand how the real world works. But if you have a business topic or a new YouTube channel that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please feel free to email me at lej6521@gmail.com. If you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering. If you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed night. Good night.